All right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to yet another TapDaddyBeats stream. I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. Losing track of my days here. But yes, welcome to the first ever live mix session. You know, I just had so much mix work to do this week and decided it was a good time to just pull out a live mix section. Oh, I hear myself. Let me pause that. Losing track. There we go. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's dive into it. I've got a track picked out that I'm just gonna dive into a mix. This one is a track that is going to be coming out on my upcoming EP, Sunrise Serenade. So you guys are going to hear this on Spotify sometime somewhat soon, hopefully. So anyways, let's just dive into it and let's see what we're working with here. Let's give ourselves a first initial listen and kind of think about it. Oh, I think it's loading some of that background fuzz. Yeah, this rain sample hasn't loaded in. There we go. Oh, come on. If that persists, then I'm going to reload the project. Sometimes it doesn't want to load in like all of the samples first time around. So let's go ahead and actually reload this project. We're going to song 841. I haven't made any changes to this, so we're going to say don't save. And then basically we're going to just load into it, make sure that we have everything loaded in properly. And then after that, I'm going to be doing a little save as so that we can save as the mix V1. You know, that way if we completely butcher it, we have the original to come back to, right? So let's see. Yeah, it looks like that rain sample got loaded in, right? But yeah, if you guys have any questions about mixing or anything, you guys can just ask away. All right. Boy, this is already a pretty good mix. Things that we're probably going to start with the drums. I want to let this play out. Let's take a peek at our max peak value. Boy, we're positive 4.27. Okay, so, you know, we're going to get this out of the red, first of all. Let's just keep listening. All right, nice. Okay, that's pretty good. So now, just starting off, like I said, we're going to do a quick save live set as. That way we can kind of distinguish our mix project file from the original demo project file, just in case if we ever need to go back to that. So song 841, mix V1. I forgot what the actual title of this track is, but again, this is going to be coming out on my Sunset Serenade EP. Yeah, mix V1. We'll just save that. There we go. And yeah, let's really dive into it. So, first of all, we got, you know, a max peak. Let's just double check now that this has ended. It's a max peak of positive 4.27. Let's see, do we have any groups in here? Nope. Do we have anything ran to our buses? I don't think so. So yeah, this is a pretty bare bones project file. Just double checking that we don't have any of these A or B knobs set. Okay, good. Cool. So basically what I can do now is I can highlight, and you saw the max peak value is positive 4.27. I want to get this down below 0 by kind of an arbitrary amount. It doesn't really matter how much. Let's just take everything. So let's see, we're going to start with our drums up here. We're going to select all the way to down here. And let's turn everything down by like 8, let's just say. It's going to make it really quiet, but you know, you guys are hearing the audio as I am, unaltered. So if you need to hear it louder, you know, go ahead and turn your headphones up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. Now we have uniformly turned everything down by 8 decibels, you know. That preserves the balance, but now we're not in the red. In fact, we can kind of go back, listen through. Again, you know, turn up your headphones if you need to. All right. I like the quality of these drums. They're a little bit muddy. I might try to get those punches on the kick and snare to really like kind of crunch up. And I think I know what kind of tool I'm going to use. I'm going to use probably Radiator from Sound Toys. It's a special type of saturator that seems to work well with drums. What do we have on here though? So I see we've got a drum bus. We've also got Sketch Cassette. It's a tape processor, which is kind of giving it a more muted quality. That's what it sounds like without the tape processing. I kind of like that it's a little bit darker in quality. I might do this though a little bit differently, maybe using in fact, I think I want to completely play around with a new drum bus here. So here's what we're going to do, because I'm not entirely certain that I want to do away with this processing completely. But I do want to just take a free step forward in a different approach to how these drums sound. So I'm going to just Command D on this track. I'm duplicating it. We're going to turn this top guy off, and we are going to turn both these guys off down below and really just kind of start over with how the drums are processed. Okay, so starting at the beginning, we're going to start with gain staging. I think it's important before you could jump into your, you know, like pulling out saturators and doing all this processing, start with the basics. Start with just gain staging, because if it starts from a very well-balanced state, you're going to be able to go a lot farther with it, right? So listening through this, I feel like the kicks are a little bit weak. The hi-hats are a little bit loud. I would like a little bit more snap out of that snare, but we'll get into that. Go ahead and turn up this kick. We also have a secondary kick here that we're going to turn up slightly. I feel like we still aren't loud enough. Okay, in fact, I think the second kick needs to come up more than that first kick. Okay. Now let's turn down these hi-hats a little bit. Maybe by like 2 decibels. go even further down. Let's take them down another 2. Oops, did I turn that down again? Yeah. Okay, now this guy comes down another 2. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit more of a balance. So we have some interesting things going on, like that delay. I really like the sound of that delay. Something that we got to be kind of careful of as we start manipulating these drums a little bit is if we do start to compress these drums, that delay is essentially going to get picked up more, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, could be kind of something that we want to keep a mindful eye on, right? You know, hey, what's up, Theo? Theo? Please let me know how to pronounce your name if I'm butchering it. Thank you, man. Thank you. I know I've been sitting on this demo for months, dude. This is one that I've been coming back to for a while. I'm glad that I'm finally like getting this one sorted, and like I was saying earlier, this is going to be coming out on an upcoming TapDaddy EP, Sunrise Serenade. It's going to be spicy. All right. I think I want to go ahead and start putting on some processing. And we can do more gain staging after we've done some processing. But I think that this is in a better state. We could turn up this snare. Now that we've turned the kicks up, we've turned the hi-hats down, we're kind of making that, you know, loudness is all relative. We're making the kind of difference greater between the hi-hats and the actual like punchy drum parts. This feels a lot more satisfying. Okay. Now, let's bust out Radiator. Okay, now here's where we're going to get some pretty fun crunch, I think, on these drums. This should be good. God damn. Feels good to be doing some work on stream with you guys. So, like, I don't know. I've just been so swamped in mix work lately. It's going to be a productive day, I think. Oh, we're already getting some crunch on that. Get a little bit of that bass up. So that's how it sounds dry. Then wet. You guys will notice that there's a little bit of extra crunch on that kick now. It's that saturation coming from Radiator. A/B testing it. Doesn't quite feel like we're there yet, though. It's not quite punching. I'm curious, if we turned this drum bus on, it's too much. This might pair well with a little bit of Decapitator. Let's maybe slip this in before Radiator. I'm trying to get a little bit of extra bump out of it. I think that Radiator did a good job making it crunch. Now we need more punch. So let's get a little bit more drive going. Get this thump on. I believe that this thump knob right here, basically you see this low cut. I think what this does is it boosts whatever is in front of that low cut. Now we could turn the tone down to make it a little less bright. Kind of as, you know, we were doing with this sketch cassette. Now, this is sounding a little bit too crunchy almost. Let's get Radiator back up and let's turn that dry wet down. there's going to be a happy middle ground in here somewhere. Now, you guys will hear there's a bit of like high-end stuff going on this kick. This one over here. Let's pull out our EQ. I mean, it's not bad, but I am kind of curious what it would sound like if we cut out the highs on this kick. There's a hi-hat that's stacked up on top of this kick, right? Yeah, you guys can see that information right up here in about the 8,000 hertz range. So what if we... Not quite vibing, you know? So yeah, what is decapitator for? That's a good question. Basically, I would describe decapitator as I would describe it as like a saturating tool, you know? It's got a drive knob on it. But really, you see, we've got low cut, we've got tone, high cut, and then all of these different styles of like saturation. So at its core, it's really like a saturator. But I think in practice, this is very much well used for like as like a drum bus, you know? I really love throwing these on my drums just to get a little bit more punch and crunch, you know? But, you know, I've seen people use decapitator in a lot of like very versatile ways, you know? So it's just like a fun way to kind of punch up your drums, give them a little bit more texture, you know? Kind of doing the same job that this drum bus was doing, you know? This is Ableton's stock drum bus that was there to kind of make it more knocky. I don't know, I just think that this drum bus was there to kind of punch and crunch, and then this sketch cassette was here to make it a little bit darker sounding, a little less bright. This decapitator is giving it some punch and crunch, and then also on this tone knob, we turned that down a little bit to make it a little less bright, right? And then this radiator is a different type of saturator that is kind of more accurately allowing for that kick to kind of crunch a little bit more nicely. This is sounding good. Let's hear this with the rest of the track. And we'll A/B test it against the original. I feel like it's not there yet. Maybe it just needs to come up in volume. I'm thinking a little bit of this drum bus, maybe. Maybe we turn it on, but we turn this dry wet down. No, I like it better without the dry wet, or without the drum bus. I just want a little bit more. Yeah, tough. Thank you, man. Oh yeah, now that we've got this up in volume, this is sounding pretty slick. Okay. Let's make sure that we're feeling good about this. We can always come back to the drums, right? I can't help but feel like this kick is a little bit more in the right ear. Let's force it to be mono. Yeah, that feels a lot more mono, right? Feels a lot more centered. Let's do the same thing on the second kick just to be uniform. Ooh, yeah. So we've got quite a bit of reverb going on here. And I kind of like it, although I kind of want to get a little bit more control over it. Like, I want it to be kind of more in the background, but I still want it to be present. It's kind of hard to explain what I'm really thinking here. But I think really what I want to do is I want to turn down this dry wet. So basically turning down the reverb. And then I want to compress a little bit to bring up that reverb tail just slightly, you know. But yeah, is that a vape or a THC pen? It's just a vape. It's just a vape. And honestly, I think YouTube doesn't like me talking about it too much, so it has to come with a warning. Vaping is bad, guys. Vaping is very, very bad. Sorry. Yes, I said the thing, YouTube overlords. Vaping bad. Dude, they're so weird about their policies. I don't even know. I try to just play it safe. But I'm pretty much always hitting that thing while I'm just working. All right, so yeah, you can hear that big reverb tail. Let's turn this down. And then we're going to pull out LA2A, which is a really nice compressor. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Now this saxophone is kind of like baked in there a little bit more. Like, we still got the reverb, but now it's like that reverb kind of gets compressed down underneath that saxophone. Oh, dude, this is sounding sick. Now, we did have this little delay lane. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to take these guys, we're going to copy them. Usually I would group these, but we've got this delay in here that only pertains to this track, and I want these to come before the delay, not after, right? So we're going to delete that vocal pop hall. We're going to slap these in. Okay, now that same processing should apply to this delay lane as well. Let's hear that back again. That's pretty nice. I feel like I want to bring back the dry wet though a little bit on this delay. Make it so that those delay elements are a little less loud. Now I'm kind of curious, do I want to set up like some side chaining maybe? I might want to. I'm a little worried though that I'm going to get it too pumpy, you know, and I'm not sure if that's what I'm going for, but I do want it to feel very glued, you know. By the way, what's up, Miles? How's it going, dude? Oh, it's Gandalf. What's up, dude? Hell yeah. Oh, I appreciate you, man. Oh, dude, I'm glad that you popped by. How's life treating you, man? You caught me for this is the first time that I've done a live mixing session. Lately I've been doing a lot of mixing work. I've been kind of freelancing as a mix engineer, and I'm like so booked up on mixing stuff this week that I needed like an extra mix block, for my own music. So that's what we're doing right now is I'm just like mixing something that's going to be coming out on my own discography. So it's good stuff. But dude, it's good to see you, man. Hell yeah. Let's see where we're heading here. I'm also kind of considering right now things that are just like pretty basic pillars of mixing. So I'm considering how, gain staging, how everything is sitting right now. I'm also considering the spacing of everything. So like right now, before we really dive in with all the compression and all of that, this is just like a really good time to like kind of free yourself from what you already think of the demo and to just start nudging things around like, ooh, I want more bass, I want less of this, whatever it may be, right? I'm already thinking some of these small details might get kind of thrown to the sides. Like for example, this guy down here, this little lick. Okay, that's in the left ear. That sounds nice. What about this guy? This isn't problematic in the center, but it might just be a little bit more interesting if we put it off slightly to the side, And this guy's off in the left. What if we countered this by just like sliding this guy a little bit to the right? That kind of keeps it out of the way of this saxophone, which is slightly left leaning, by the way. So if we lean this slightly right, that feels pretty good. Slight, I'm also just curious how wide this thing is. Let's pull up an imager and take a look at what this audio looks like. Imager 2. Because, something that I sometimes do is I will like mono something in order to create space and make it a little bit easier to just kind of like pan it around a little bit. Wow, yeah, look at that. That's super wide. And we'll see if I actually want to get rid of that width. Let's mono it and just see how that sounds, and then we could try sliding that around. So I'm actually going to slide this back to center. Okay. Now let's get our utility here. Let's mono it. Here, I'll put this before the imager so we can see what we're doing. So now this should be a little stick in the center. Yep. Now we can kind of balance this to the right a little bit. That kind of feels better. I don't know. Let's A/B test it. Nah, I don't know. That width actually feels pretty good. We'll see. Yeah, he says you could use EQ plus sidechain under the glue compressor, light attack mid-release. Oh, we'll get to the compression. We haven't even gotten that far yet. But I don't know. I think really, though, in terms of like strategy for compression, I'm mostly looking to compress a lot of these more mid-range kind of details, like these Rhodes samples. And in fact, I already have some compression on here. But really, I kind of want to go light on the compression for these little tiny details, like this. Because I feel like here's the thing is if you like overly compress everything, then it starts to feel like this really like, it starts to almost lose depth because you kind of like turn everything into a wall, right? But if you kind of allow for maybe like the compressed elements that you want compressed to be compressed, and you like kind of like allow for some of these elements to be a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more controlled, you can kind of like allow for a little bit more depth to seep into your mix. Because also I might be kind of in my head about it, because I feel like a little while ago I was kind of over compressing everything, and before I knew it, it felt like all of the audio was like shoved up against my face. I don't know, man. We'll dive in with it, though. We'll dive in. Yeah, he says those roads are heavenly as is. Yo, definitely, right? I don't know. I see this is also like where I feel like something that I've learned to do a lot more lately is kind of learning to let things be. If that, don't fix it if it's not broken. You don't need to like pull out a crazy, effects chain on everything, So, it's a matter of like trying things and really A/B testing your way to victory. Just kind of like we are right here. I think that I had an idea to mono this element and to slide it to the right, and we A/B tested it, and I think I'm deciding against monoing it. So that's mono. Here's the so that's what that looks like. And now we're going to turn that off. Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's keep that nice and wide. I actually like that. And you know what? What's kind of nice is I think that this saxophone is pretty mono. So like while this is centered, it's like this wide detail that is like, kind of seeping around the center of attention here, being the saxophone. Let's actually pull up our imager on this saxophone and see what's going on here in terms of width. I'm imagining that this reverb has a decent amount of width, so we might kind of look at what the width looks like before this reverb, what it looks like afterwards. So let's bust out imager 2. Yeah, so this is like super mono, and I like that, actually. Let's bring this over here. Yeah, so that reverb introduces some interesting width, and you can kind of hear that. But what's cool is I've got this compressor going on here that is kind of like forcing for like, think of it like this. We're limiting the amount of audio that we have available here. So like every time that you see this needle lift up, it is kind of like its compression is at play, basically meaning the louder details are going to win out over the smaller details. The smaller details are going to be kind of pushed down, right? So we're kind of like limiting the amount of dynamic that we're letting through, right? So every time that this needle lifts up, basically what's happening is it's like kind of limiting how loud it can get, and what kind of seeps through, what wins out in this scenario is the saxophone itself rather than the reverb, right? So what's so nice about this little combo of like this dash of reverb and then this compression is that basically as the saxophone comes in, that reverb kind of comes down ever so slightly. And then as that saxophone lets off, that reverb comes up like ever so slightly, right? So now we've got like this really nice, like baked, gelled, like reverberated saxophone that just feels heavenly, right? Woo! That's awesome. So these little details over here just seem to be kind of getting buried. These are also roads, I believe. And I kind of had this over here to counter what was going on in these piano chops, which was mostly in the right ear. Okay, so how can we get this to come forward? It's audible there, but it's very quiet. And it's kind of like there's a lot going on in that mid-range. Let's just try gain staging it up a little bit, just propping it up a bit. Okay, maybe that was a bit much. Really, the second notes kind of are a little bit too loud. Maybe we need to tame these down a bit. Bring these down like that much. Much better. Okay, now let's hear this section over here. That's actually good. I like these, that these second ones are louder. And in fact, I'm thinking these could come up. See, that's where I kind of want this guy to be a little bit more to the right. This is like pretty wide. This is pretty narrow and really to the left. Maybe we could get these to work a little bit better by sliding this guy a bit to the right, but I don't know. We were kind of messing with that earlier and we kind of ran into our issues there. So let's just try sliding it a bit to the right. Oh, that actually feels a lot better. Bump this up a bit more. Yes, okay. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Tio. Saucing over here. Dude. So that kind of like dies in volume as it goes on there. What if we kind of raised the floor? You know, we use some compression here. You see, this is where we are starting to get into some compression. If I feel like I can't fix it with just gain staging, and I can't fix it with just panning, and I can't fix it with just EQing, then yeah, this is like the perfect scenario where some compression makes sense, right? We can really kind of like make the quieter parts less quiet, you know, normalize it a little bit more with the louder parts of this, right? And it's okay that it kind of falls off. Yeah, you know, that's how it's supposed to go, but we're kind of just like decreasing the dynamic range here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bust out LA2A, and we're going to, you know, just kind of squish this dynamic range. And then once we've got the compression feeling just how we want it, then we're going to regain stage it and basically just set it at the volume that it makes sense at, right? So let's do that. Okay, that's at play now. Perfect. Wow. See, that swoop down was so much quieter without that compressor. With it on. With it off. With it on. Okay, well, now let's hear it with everything. Oh, so much better. All right. let's turn this down a little bit though. It's kind of a background detail. We're doing good things, guys. We're doing very good things here. All right, let's just kind of zoom out here for a minute. Let's zoom out and listen to this, you know? I think that, like, just broad piece of advice for mixing. I forget who said this. It was a piece of advice that some other YouTube channel, some other mix engineer on YouTube was talking, and I really liked his analogy for, like, I don't know, what your perspective should be when you're mixing. He was kind of talking about, like, you know, how some of the best engineers in the world are really, really good at taking a step back from the mix and just listening to it like a normal person would, you know? Rather than really being analytical and listening for problems, stepping back, listening to the music, and letting the problems kind of come slap you in the face, basically, you know? The analogy that he gave was that it's kind of like, you know, if you were to go to the Louvre in France, which is an art museum for anybody that doesn't know. It's the one that has the Mona Lisa, right? If you were to go straight up to the Mona Lisa and look at it from 2 inches away, you're going to notice brush strokes. You're going to notice decay from over time. You're going to notice all of these blemishes and imperfections. But if you stand back 10 feet, you're going to see the Mona Lisa, one of the most famous and well-respected paintings in the world, right? And I think that if you look at music in the same way, where, like, you can stand back 10 feet from it, then you're seeing it as everybody else sees it, basically. And that's the most important perspective to have, right? Because if you're looking for the problems, if you're standing 2 inches away from your mix and you're like, oh, by the way, I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. If you're standing 2 inches away from your mix, you know, and you're listening for details, you are always going to find details. And then you're kind of losing your objectiveness. You're not hearing the music how everybody else hears your music, right? So I think that it's really a matter of, like, taking a step back, listen to the music, and if something sticks out to you, like, oh, this snare is just kind of harsh, you know, then you can zoom in and come forward and stand 2 inches away and fix that. But I don't think that you want to be in that perspective the entire time that you're mixing. Yeah, Tio's saying, damn facts. It's hard to clear your mind up and listen to it with fresh ears. Exactly. But I think that, you know, this is what's so great about some of the best mix engineers in the world is they can step back and, you know, kind of separate from their expectations from what they're hearing. You know, you can kind of step back and go, I'm not going to listen to that kick expecting a problem to be there, right? You can just step back and just listen to the music and let any issues just kind of come to you. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to listen to this music and we're going to let any issues come and smack us in the face, right? So let's do it. All right. Okay, well, already I hear a little bit of clicking. We do have a little bit of fade in on these guys. That's what I heard right there. You know, I do kind of like that kind of gives it like a little bit of a chopped aesthetic, you know? I usually am avoiding clips like that. Let's maybe just tinker with the amount of fade in that we have on these slices. See if we can eliminate that completely, but I'm kind of keeping in mind that it's at 2.2 milliseconds right now. So no, I'm thinking we're going to keep it at 2.2 actually. Okay, let's listen again. The drums feel a little bit forward. I think I want this to like really gel with the track a little bit more, you know. So maybe some side chaining really is the answer here, you know. But yeah, Tio says, what rapper would you send this to if you had the chance? Oh man, I assume that you're talking about rappers that I don't know, rappers that I don't work with. like famous rappers. Oh man, this to me feels like a Shing02 type beat. I would send this to Shing02. He's the rapper that did Battle Cry with Nujabes. I don't know if you're familiar with Samurai Champloo. That was a great anime within a fantastic soundtrack. Yeah, I would send this to Shing02, or who else I could see like absolutely stomping this. Also a little bit more old school. Common. I could see Common like going crazy on this. That's good. Hey, Mammy, what's up? What's up? How you doing? Yeah, I'm late as always, but hey, I made it. Hey, I'm glad you did. Welcome on in. How's your day going? All right, let's get into this. I think I don't think I want to bus up everything, but I do think I want to bus up maybe just these chops, because we've got two layers here. We've got the bass. Boy, you can hear the clips on that. That's okay. Like we said, we kind of liked that chopped aesthetic, right? And it's this piano and these Rhodes that we want to group. We're going to leave this bass outside of the group because it's going to have a little bit of a different side chain to it. But let's go ahead and do this. We're going to I've got these two selected. I'm just going to Command G and boom. Now they're all in a group and we can touch these like as one. They can go together, But yeah, Mammy says, I'm good. How's it going? It's chilling, This is turning into a pretty productive stream. I'm getting some mix work done, So I can't complain. I'm having a very productive day. But yeah, and I see Theo saying, reminds me of 1999 by Joey Badass. I need to listen to more Joey Badass. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of an old head, but I know a lot of people tell me that my beats should, that my beats remind me a lot of like what Joey Badass is on. I feel like, yeah, he's kind of an artist that I think I've been kind of sleeping on, that I need to go listen to more stuff, Okay, so here's the thing. Now we've got this group. The reason why I grouped these is because I want to set up a side chain with these guys together. Now let's go create our side chain signal. I'm going to Command D on this track that we're using. Okay, and we're only going to keep one of these, all right? We're going to silence this top guy, right? And basically, we're only going to use the kick. Yeah, I think just the kick signal. Sometimes I include the snare in the sidechain signal if I want to add some weight to that snare, but I'm thinking for this one, we're just going to go with the kick. And yeah, let's solo this track, make sure we get a clean signal for that kick. So let's mute everything but that. So you can hear that there's like a little bit of a tail to this kick with that hi-hat attached to it. We're going to cut that out. Yeah, about that length. Doesn't matter how it sounds because this is not going to get heard. We're genuinely just using this signal over here as a sidechain signal. Okay, so it's muted. You can see we're not going to hear that. Now let's go bust out our glue compressors and set up our sidechain signal. Let's see. We're gonna have a little bit of release on these. Maybe like no attack. Okay, we're gonna drop down that side menu, enable sidechain, input from exactly that track that we just set up. Now that track is still muted, but what's cool about how Ableton works is despite that we have this track muted, we can still use the signal that it produces, right? So that's essentially what we're doing. Let's set it. Let's do it. I think I want to jump up to that 5. And now I'm going to lay down another one. We're going to tighten that release. We're going to pull that threshold back even more. One more, tighten that release even more, pull that threshold back. Now you're probably like, well, what the fuck, Tap? Why are you using 3 sidechain compressors here? It's because think of it like this. The audio flows from the left to the right, meaning that the output from this guy is going to be the input for this guy, right? So when you're stacking up sidechains like that, basically, the first sidechain compressor tells it, okay, here comes a kick, let's duck down under it, right? Well, that second sidechain compressor, the first one tells it to come down, then that second sidechain compressor goes, no, you mean like down, like even more, right? Same goes for that third one. But every single time I am tightening the release, meaning the amount of time that it takes to spring back up to full volume. And so imagine just like on a graph what this looks like volume-wise as it comes out of that sidechain, right? It's kind of a funnel shape, right? So it ducks down pretty fast because we don't have any attack here. And then on the other side of that sidechain, it immediately comes up and starts to curve outwards. And it's pretty tight here. But you see, by layering up my sidechains like this, I have gotten a much deeper sidechain feel, and I have a lot more control over like the shape of it, right? So, I don't know. That's just a little piece of advice. That's how I do it. I'm curious. I don't know. I'm not pretending like I have all the answers here, but that's worked for me quite a bit, you know? So now, as a result, these drums sound louder, right? We're going to set these drums further back in the mix. Maybe not that far back. Don't worry about loudness when it comes to the mix, right? Worry about balance. Prioritize balance. Yeah. I am curious, what if we included that snare in that sidechain signal? I initially kind of thought against it, but I'm starting to feel like maybe that could be pretty slick. Let's include that. This feels a lot better. Now, you know what I'm going to do for that bass and probably a lot of these different details? I'm going to take these last 2 compressors, meaning that the release is tighter, right? And also it's fewer sidechain compressors, so the ducking is smaller, right? So less time to come back up to full volume, and it travels down in volume less, right? We're going to take those 2, just these last 2, we're going to apply it to this bass. The reason why I want less sidechain and less release, quicker release time on this bass is because I want those bass notes to feel pretty glued to that kick. But at the same time, I still want things to feel pretty uniform in how things are kind of, gelling, right? Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this in every genre. I think that this sort of aggressive sidechaining kind of feel is something kind of specific to the genre of boom bap, right? Classic hip hop. It's, how you might approach these sorts of scenarios kind of differs depending on if you were, what kind of genre you're doing. Like, for example, if we were making like an indie funk track, I probably wouldn't sidechain like that. You know what I would do instead is I would just take those bass notes and just make sure that they land ever so slightly on the backside of the kick, allowing for that kick to really be felt and kind of feeling like that bass note is ringing out as a, almost like as a result of that, right? So, I don't know. I think we're doing some pretty good stuff here. I'm still not. I need to listen a little bit more to this bass and just let's just listen, see how it feels. No, this isn't on the right one. I was like, what am I hearing, dude? I'm not hearing that ducking on the... Okay, so I accidentally put this on that piano. Okay, so we're going to get rid of those. We're going to add these down here with the bass. That's what it is. And you know what I should do? So I don't make that mistake again, is I should name these. I'm a bastard about it, honestly, and it's because I work by myself so much, right? So I'm not like sending these to, I usually name them by the time that I am sending them out to rappers. But when I'm working with it, I'm like trying to keep track of what's what. So silly of me. I should work smarter, not harder, I'm sure that any other professional mix engineers watching are probably like judging me for not naming and organizing my project here. Hey, PBster, how's it going, dude? Yo, what's up? I'm glad you could make it, man. Welcome on in, dude. Let's see. So let's get that, yeah. Okay, I've decided I don't like how this compression feels on that bass, that side chain. Yeah, let's leave it be. Let's not fix it if it's not broken, right? I think what's really the saving grace here is that that crunch that we put on that kick in the beginning, that's giving this kick a lot more like mid-range bite to it, which is allowing it to be very perfectly distinguished from this bass. In fact, I think this bass could come up a bit. That feels good. We might want to put a little dash of compression on these drums to make them feel a little bit fatter. And then, of course, after that, we'll set it a little bit further back in the mix, like we'll regain stage it, basically. Now, things to kind of consider, though, while applying this compression is that the delays on the snares are probably going to be brought forward. But I think that's not such a bad thing. It might make it feel a little bit more full. But yeah, thank you, PBster. I'm over here like fucking up to my neck in mix ideas, just yammering. But I think we're getting places, Like, goddamn. All right, let's do this. All right, so what was I doing? A little bit of compression. I'm gonna bust out the LA2A compression. Get that nice tube compressor from Universal Audio. God, I love this compressor, dude. This compressor is so sick. It's so simple and it sounds great on everything. I don't know. Let's have a look at the snare EQ. So, I feel like we could mess around with how the snare feels. Now, just in general, as we're playing around with our EQ on a snare, two things I want you guys to know about EQs and snares, or really EQs in anything. Mid-range is going to be boxy. High range is going to be snappy. So it's really like, do we want to punch, or do we want to snap, like, let's play with it. I don't think I want it nice and bright like that. I think I want to keep some of the punchiness. Let's not do anything too extreme. But let's hear. I don't know though, that's kind of cool. But I'm like, I don't think I want to boost 15 dB down there. Maybe it is that we do kind of brighten the snare a bit. And if we do that, then I think I want to take down the volume. So we added about 2 decibels there in the high end. Now we're going to take down that snare by about 2 decibels, right? And essentially what I've done, even though this was an additive EQ, meaning I boosted a part of the signal, I boosted it by 2 decibels and then brought down the volume by 2 decibels. So really you could think of this as a subtractive EQ, like instead of adding 2 decibels here, it's almost like I took away 2 decibels from every other part of the snare. So I don't know, 2 different ways of kind of thinking of it. So I want to start taking that compression. Let's see, like I was saying, we're going to use these last 2 sidechain compressors over here and start bringing them on to some of the details. Let's see how this sounds on this saxophone. A little bit more sidechain action. It's a little bit much. Turn down that threshold. That sounds great. Let's pull this off over into this Rhodes solo. Hey, what's up, Aiden Dodge? How's it going, dude? Welcome on in, man. Boy, you can barely tell that that's affecting this Rhodes. In fact, I kind of like that, I don't really want big pumping motions, coming from these side chains. The only area where I want that to be kind of noticeable is in these roads up here in this group, right? I think that's really where I want people to kind of feel that sidechain. And I want everything else to kind of bend along with it, but I don't want to like completely like over pump, you know, these focal points, the you know, whatever is the center of attention right here, right? So I'm kind of preserving it, you know. But yeah, Aiden says I may have lost the entirety of chaotic relaxation. Holy shit! Did you lose a hard drive? That's dude. I am sorry for your loss. That is. Holy shit. I'll tell you what I do, man. Here's my backup hard drive. I keep multiple different terabyte hard drives. So like what I've got plugged into my computer right now is Beats Volume 1. This is Beats Volume 1 backup. It's about 800 gigabytes of like stems and stuff like that. It's tough, man. It's tough. The only way I can, you know, kind of, yeah, he says my little brother broke my disk drive. Oh, so is it like your hard drive or is it just like the disk drive, what reads CDs? That's fucking tough, dude. But yeah, I always recommend, so like, you know, I used to be a software engineer. And my systems security professor in college was kind of explaining, like, if a piece of data is really, really important to you, the way that you can never lose it is if you keep 2 hard copies and 1 soft copy. You know, what is hard copies and soft copies? Hard copies is physical hard drives that you own, right? And then soft copies is like something that maybe you store in like Google Drive, you know, something that is, you know, so like worst case scenario, if your house burns down, you still have a soft copy to fall back on, right? So, yeah, he says a USB disk drive. So when you say disk drive, you're talking about like are you talking about like the actual USB itself or what that USB plugs into? Because if not, you could probably get your drive, like whatever has all of your information on it, you know, onto another computer and airdrop it over, you know, like Google Drive it to yourself. I don't know, man. I'm trying to help. That's rough. Goodness. Oh, I am sorry for your loss, dude. Oh, let's see where we're at with this. Oh, and you know what else we want? That sidechain on. That rain. Yeah, so we're gonna copy these, paste them down here with this rain so that on the intro, it sidechains into that rain background. That sounds great. Whew. Okay, we're getting places. But yeah, Aiden, if you haven't yet already, you should try that USB on a different computer, you know, because if you can access it on a different computer, then I think you're saved, you know. Just means that your USB like you know, port is fucked. All right, now let's carry, you know, we got these more minimalized side chains. Let's carry these over to the small details, like this guy. Okay, and this guy. Woo. Okay, lastly, this guy. That sounded a little bit loud, but then again, maybe these other details are a little bit quiet. I'm not sure. Probably try it both ways. Okay, so that came down a little bit. Let's nudge these up, both of these details. There we go. But yeah, man, Aiden, I have no idea, man. That sounds rough. God damn. That is a rough day, man. You know, the good thing about losing music is you can always make more music. If nothing else. But it's rough. I bet you're gonna keep multiple copies of your music, you know? Like, I don't know. I'm lucky that I have watched so many people lose entire years of hard work to like hard drive failures that I just keep multiple copies of everything that I've ever done, as much as I can. It's a smart way of doing it. You know, Aiden, you're pretty young, so if you can learn that lesson, right, before you're like 20 years into making a bunch of music and then suddenly like a hard drive fucking shits out and you lose like 20 years of work, like you don't want to end up there, right? So I would highly advise, like, this is a good time and reason to go get a backup hard drive. And, you know, once a month, just have it on your calendar that once a month you back up your entire hard drive, right? That's the best thing to combat that from happening. But it's super unfortunate when it happens because, dude, I've known so many people that have lost years of work, you know? It just sucks. Yeah, I'm fortunate that I have 2 hard copies and a soft copy of everything. Although there's a lot of demos that I have yet to back up that I would also be pretty heartbroken, you know? See the max peak value. -3. We got room, which is good because we're about to master this, actually. What I didn't tell you guys is that this is actually a mixing and mastering stream. We're gonna master this track. Oh. Oh, dude, I think we're going to be able to get a lot of good stuff going on once we get to mastering. And I think that this is about where I want this mix to sit, you know? Like, we got the drums sounding good. We got the track feeling a lot more gelled together. We did our gain staging. We did... kind of space things out. We panned things. I really haven't messed too much with EQing. I feel like I used to EQ so meticulously, but I don't know. I don't think that this track really needs a ton of EQing. We might, real quick, mess around with a little bit of like... kind of bringing forward some of the warmth of this. Let's just see what's going on here. See, this is like already so shaved away. I don't think it's gonna need anything. So let's get rid of that. Let's have a look on this bass. Now this is really where we might actually EQ a little bit. Wow, that's already also like, but let's see if we boost this a bit. I'm also just curious, what if we busted out some radiator on this bass? Might sound kind of cool, might sound like dog shit, but let's find out. We're going to put this before the compressor. We'll probably play around with it on either side of the compressor. All right, let's see. Now this is where I feel like you're in real danger of muddying up a good thing here. Let me turn down my volume. This bass is getting a little bit overwhelming. You know, really, I guess what? Yeah, well, let's get rid of this radiator. Let's pull out Decapitator and see if we can get a little bit of a driven feel to it. Yeah, let's just mess with it. You know, it's our last chance to really like play with this before we enter the mastering phase. And we can still go back, turn off that master chain, mess with it a little bit more. But let's just feel this out. Wow, it's totally different whether you put it before or after, and it's because this compressor is like pushing it up further into the roof. But I like the feel of all of this drive on this bass. Okay. And we'll have to gain stages back into place. Because, yeah, this is like very extreme. Let's turn it down and bring it up to the volume that we want it at. So just a little gain staging trick. Sometimes I feel like it's easier to bring it up to the right volume than it is to bring it down to the right volume, right? So let's turn it way down. Now, I'm not sure about, like, okay, so you guys heard that there was an extra note here. on that bass, even after, it's because it's part of the chop. I am starting to think that we do not want that extra note there. So maybe we cut it like this. Yes, that's how we want it. That's great. I think I want to bring up these piano details. Okay, it's only on like the first half. Bass is a little bit loud. Let's also just turn these drums down just like 1 decibel. Yeah, remember, loudness is all relative. Until we start messing with the master, we're not concerned with loudness. We're all concerned about balance. This trade-off between nudging the drums up a decibel, nudging them down a decibel. You can also think of it equally as we're turning up the rest of the track, because, loudness is all relative. So I think these drums are really slapping. Set it down another decibel. I think that's about right. All right. I think it's time for some mastering, guys. I think it's time for some mastering. And if we finish this one, I've got another song lined up to mix today. So we could potentially hit another one. But let's dive into the mastering process. I'll walk you guys through what I've been doing, especially this is the perfect kind of boom bap beat to be doing this often. The first thing I'm going to pull out is this compressor from Shadow Hills. It's mastering compressor. This is really a fun compressor, especially for tracks like this that just have a lot of rich details in the background. Now, this, I'm sure, looks like quite a daunting compressor, right? So let me explain kind of what we're looking at here. Really, you can think of this as 2 different compressors all in one. We've got our optical compressor, which is all of this stuff up here. And we've got our discrete compressor, which is all of this stuff down here. Now, I could basically compress the left ear differently from the right ear. If I throw it into dual mono, now all of this is working, right? All of these knobs, this works on the left ear, this works on the right ear, right? But I think really what we want is stereo. So basically, whenever this is in stereo mode, this only the left side affects what's going on, and it's being applied equally to both sides, right? So we're going to keep it on stereo. I think I'm going to turn sidechain on. That's going to get, it's going to kind of glue it together a little bit. Now, what is the difference between optical and discrete? Well, I'm personally still learning the difference between these compressors, but I'll tell you some observations that I've made about this compressor, okay? Discrete, this really brings the body of this up. This, I feel like, is really like it's good at making things like those Rhodes a little bit more intense. This optical compressor, I think, is better at preserving the drums, preserving the punch of the drums. And in fact, I think that we get a lot more of this kind of sidechain feel the more that we push that optical compressor. Now, differences between these compressors, you'll notice that the discrete compressor has a attack knob and a recover, which is just release, right? And it also has a ratio knob. Now, the ratio on these optical compressors is fixed. So basically what you get is what you get with the optical. Now, let's just start slightly compress. I don't think I want to overdo this, but I do think I think we had like 3 decibels of gain to kind of play with. And I'm going to be kind of working within the 3 decibels of gain there to make this a little bit fatter. All right. Okay, so we're starting to get some optical working. It's already feeling better. I'm A/B testing right now. Oh yeah, that's doing good. Let's bring a little bit more body into this. So we're gonna bring up this discrete compressor now. Now, if they also have this like interesting, I haven't figured out what this does really. These this knob right here. Okay, this is technically like the plating or something. I cannot tell the difference between nickel, iron, and steel. I don't. You guys tell me if you hear any difference. I genuinely can't really tell any difference. I think maybe placebo effect, but I kind of like the steel, maybe. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters at all. Let's see how much headroom we still have. Wow, it's at minus 3.62 is our max peak value. See, I'm looking at that right here where my mouse is. Let's take a look at our LUFS. I mean, we're not anywhere near where we want it to be, but let's bust out this Uline loudness meter too. Oh my god, we have so much room to pull this up. Hey, Siddharth, how's it going, man? He says, dude, top fave compressor plugin of all time, LA2A tube compressor. That's the shit, man. I use that shit on everything. I used that in the drums today. Here's what the compressor looks like. LA2A tube compressor. This is the universal audio version, by the way. There's also a Waves version of this compressor. I don't know, I've never really used the Waves version, but people kind of typically like the universal audio version more because universal audio is a little bit more gung-ho about mirroring what the physical hardware is actually doing. So if you're curious, Let me show you. This is actually modeled after a real physical compressor. Let's look it up. It's like a $5,000 compressor. This is just the plug-in version of it. LA2A tube compressor. Let me pull this up and show you. This is what I'm using, except just the plug-in version, which is much cheaper. $6,000. What the fuck? Oh my god. Why is this one $16,000? What is it? All right. No, that's a LA2A revision 2C, so that must be different. We're really talking about the tube compressor, but yeah, it's a Teletronics compressor. I fucking love this thing. Yeah, I know, right? Holy shit. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know if I would ever be able to justify. Oh, here it is for $1,000. No, this is the WA2A. I'm talking about the LA2A tube compressor. Anyways, what I love about this compressor is it is really good at like warming up mid-range. I feel like you throw this on some roads, it sounds really great. It's also really good at like beefing up your drums a little bit. I love the sound of like how this sounds when I throw some boom bap drums through it. It's usually like the last thing that's on my chain here. I find so many uses for LA2A. It's even my vocal chain. So anyways, I think that if you're looking to spend money on a compressor, I think you're going to find that a lot of mix engineers are using this LA2A compressor. I think it's really great. I think it's pretty simple, easy to use, and sounds really great on almost everything. But at the same time, I can't imagine, scam. I can't imagine forking up $5,000 to have the physical version of this, honestly. This is where I think I kind of differ from a lot of old heads. I really like software, not only because of price, but also because of convenience. You know, it's just really easy to be able to pull out the plugin and put it on my chain rather than I have to worry about, the physical hardware and setting everything up. But, I'm not going to deny that part of that, though, is like, I've never used a physical LA2A. Maybe I would be on the team that is like, oh, analog warmth, but I don't know, man. I just know what I like to use. But anyways, let's get back to this other compressor. This has been my favorite for for mastering, is the Shadow Hill. I will say, using that LA2A on the master, I've done it before, but I feel like it squishes everything a little bit too much. Kind of gets a little bit muddy. This just makes everything sound vibrant, though, the Shadow Hill. There's with it off, with it on, little AB. Yeah, I like this. Nudging it up. Boy, you can really hear on that discrete that the Rhodes gets picked up. All right, now, next thing that I like to do. What is our max peak volume currently? It's about minus 2.36. Let's pull this up by 2 decibels. Get it close to 0. It doesn't need to be exact, but I want to pull it a little bit closer to 0 dB. So now we're going to throw this on here. Let's pull our Ulean loudness analyzer outside. And let's just kind of get a gauge of where we're at. I'm going to pull this up. We're going to listen to this from beginning to end, see what our LUFS is currently sitting at, and just make sure that that max peak value is below 0. So yeah, let's do that. Oh, This is fun. But yeah, Aiden, dude, I hope you recover your hard drive, man. It's so rough. Oh. Woo! Those kicks are like fucking hard, dude. You'll notice that I had the kicks gain staged forward a little bit more than maybe was comfortable for most of you. And it's because I knew that that compressor would pick up everything, you know? Oh, geez. It's like thousands of dollars. I've never had to do that. That's wild, man. Yep. Mine is 0.12. That's perfect. Let's let it play out though. God damn. All right. So that's perfect. Now, here's the secret sauce, guys. Here's the secret weapon. We're going to pull out Ozone 9 elements. And we're going to let it automatically adjust some things. Now, before you guys are like, Tap, you're fucking crazy. I'll tell you a couple things that I still find useful about Ozone 9. Some mastering engineers are adamantly against this, and I think that's quite okay. The Ozone Elements version of Ozone 9 is just like the trial. Like it's kind of like a light version of the full suite, but it has a few things in there that I find useful. So I'm going to have it analyze the audio basically, and it's going to generate an EQ for this master. Which I like that it just recommends an EQ to me. If it sucks, we're going to fix it. But a lot of times, I would say 80% of the time, it generates an EQ that I find rather agreeable, you know? It's a good starting place for EQ, I would say. Now, other reason why we're going to use Ozone 9 is because I like the maximizer, okay? That maximizer is great at getting things up to full volume with clarity. If you push it too hard, you're going to get some clipping though, which is why we're probably going to follow up this Ozone 9 with, we're going to follow up this maximizer with a limiter that we are going to kind of shove this track face first into. All right. So let's just start with the Ozone 9 and let's go find the loudest part of our track. It doesn't have to be the loudest, but I definitely want to get an area that has that bass in it. Right. So we're getting Ozone 9 elements. We're going to put this before that loudness analyzer, right? That loudness analyzer does nothing but just feed us information about it. By the way, guys, it's a free loudness analyzer. If you're looking for something to measure your LUFS, go download Loudness Meter 2 by Ulean. I'll type it in chat for any of you guys looking to pick it up. It's totally free. It's a free tool. Loudness Meter 2 by Ulean. There you go. You could just Google that and go grab it. It's pretty nifty. All right. So, and you can see I've got some fuzz here. That's from some of the processing that we did on the drums with like Radiator. That's fine. I actually kind of like some of the texture that gives this track, you know. But anyways, let's just kind of play through some of these parts. I think this will be a fine section to kind of use the Master Assistant on. So here's where we're going to do the sin that all mastering engineers is going to be yelling at me for, We're going to let this analyze our audio and make changes to it. What's up, 77 Vans? How's it going, dude? Yo. All right, now let's do this. It's going to make some changes. It's analyzing. Okay. So right off the bat, we want to, it sets the ceiling at -1 dB. That's stupid. Why would we do that? So we're gonna we're gonna enable true peak. We're gonna move that up to 0. But yeah, thank you, 77. Oh. Let's take a look at this EQ. Okay, so it looks like it kind of shoved down our bass a little bit. It brought up some of the mid-range, kind of mid-high range, honestly. A little bit above 1,000. And it really boosted some of this high information, which I kind of like this. This gives us a brighter sounding master. This doesn't like scream to me that we need to like fix this or adjust this majorly. Take a look at our loudness analyzer. It's already brought us up to about -10 LUFS, but we didn't capture that intro. That'll decrease the LUFS a bit. I'm thinking that we have room to kind of like pull back on the threshold on this maximizer and allow a little bit more volume through. Let's wait for the drums to come in and then we'll pull that back a bit. See it now, we're kind of getting in these divots a little bit. Maximizer's doing its work. And I see it's at -10.3 LUFS. And I apologize if the stream is getting laggy. We got a lot of plugins open right now. Yeah, you guys will have to let me know how the quality of stream looks with all this stuff going on. It's my CPU usage is at about 25%. Looks like we're not dragging too much yet. But I can tell on my computer that this is like really slowing it down. Dude, this sounds so good. This sounds so good. Okay, so now, and it's already at -9.6. I'll tell you guys what I want to do next. I want to take a limiter. Now, we're not in Ableton Live 11. I mean, in 12. So I can't pull out the limiter that I want. They added a new master limiter in Ableton Live 12. Great for mastering. That is the last thing on my mastering chain for most stuff. And dude, it just sounds great. But anyways, let's mixing and mastering, limits of control, multiband and limiter. I don't think I want to mess with that. I think I want to use just a normal limiter here in lieu of the master limiter. So ceiling. Again, they try to limit us. They try to set us to... There's no reason why you shouldn't go to the absolute top, right? Why would I want it at -0.3? I don't know. All right. So... But yeah, it's not laggy. Thank you, 77 Bands. I appreciate you, man. All right, let's push this up a bit. Positive 1.5 dB we're shoving into the limiter. This actually sounds very clean. I like this. Oh, Oh, we're at minus 8.5 LUFS there. Well, let's capture the beginning and see where we're really at. Let's listen to this all the way through. I'm going to leave open this this loudness analyzer. And also I might just open up this Shadow Hills compressor so you guys can see the compression at work here. So let's hear it. It may look laggy, but I think the audio should work. Yeah, the music's not laggy. That's good. By the way, guys, I do offer mastering services for $30. So if you want me to master something of yours with all these fancy, the Shadow Hills and everything, just reach out to me. I got my email in the description. And I also do mixing services, so reach out. I am pretty booked up right now, but if any of you guys are interested in booking me, I'd be interested in talking with you, so... That feels nice. Dude, this is loud too. Minus 8.4 LUFS, that's pretty decently loud for a chill boom bap track like this. Fuck yeah. Okay. That's... Guys, we fucking did it. That is... spicy. I'm like, I really had fun mixing that in front of you guys. Holy shit, let's save this. And don't you guys worry, those of you that are just joining us now, we're actually about to start another mix. So, yeah, don't go anywhere. We're about to dive into another one. Let's save that. And, holy shit, man. Let me pull up my, my mixing schedule, see what else we can get started on. So I think the other two mixes for this EP are going to require Ableton Live 12, but I do have a mix for my upcoming album, The Low Key Plan, that I could get started on right here in Ableton Live 11. So yeah, we're gonna mix down something from my upcoming album. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. But yeah, thank you, Siddharth. I appreciate you, man. He says, dude, whenever I make music, I get good ideas, but it just starts declining like crazy and becomes basic. I don't know, dude. My plugins and instruments right now are really MPC sounding. I want some sauce. I gotcha. He says, I don't intend to become a full-on producer, but I at least want some decent sounding plugins to ignite some sort of imagination, tickle my brain type shit. So in regards to that, I would say that if you are not getting immaculate sounding mixes with your plugins, with your stock plugins, I think that you have more room to explore your stocks plugins. Because if you're not getting great mixes with the tools that you currently have, I don't think getting fancier tools is going to magically make your mixes sound great. What I would recommend is doing a little bit more research into some of the basics of what you're doing, like, learning how to properly gain stage, how to pan, how to EQ, how to compress, right? This is really like the bread and butter of what we do, right? And I think I'm a firm believer that you can make immaculate sounding mixes with even the most basic of tools if you know what you're doing. Now, that doesn't mean that, there are reasons why I like to use, like, for example, a lot of the Sound Toys plugins, and, there's a lot of great stuff to be explored, but I think that you are going to get the most out of your investments if you already have a firm understanding of what these tools can do, and what tools are most important to your music, right? So it takes time, man. It takes time. It's taken me years to get to this point of, being able to make mixes that sound like this. I think that practice is everything. Practice makes perfect. And I feel like so often do I find myself as both a producer and a mix engineer that, maybe sometimes I kind of get bored of what I'm doing. I want something new. I want something fancy. And so I, might buy a new instrument. I might buy some more plugins. But where I think I've made the biggest gains is when I find a plugin that I already have, or maybe I find some functionality of Ableton, and I just start to really do my homework on that tool, That's exactly the case for this Shadow Hills plugin. Dude, I got this. I forget when. I must have bought a plugin and this just came with it. I was just looking for various mastering tools and I came across this Shadow Hills mastering compressor and I opened it up. I was like, what the fuck does this thing do, right? Super overwhelming, this interface. So I started to look up tutorials on it. I started to really understand what the optical compressor does, what the discrete compressor does, what all these switches and knobs do, right? And I started piece by piece mastering music with this compressor. And right now, I'll be honest, I'm probably only about 5 hours into using this tool, if I include all of the research that I've done and all of the time that I have spent mastering with this tool. So I think I have a good ways to kind of go in terms of my knowledge on this tool specifically. But, this I think really gets to the point of the more that you can understand your tools, like the back of your hand, the more you're going to really objectively get to the best sounding mixes, So yeah, and I would just say don't get discouraged. I think that, a couple of things that can help push you along is if you're kind of understanding the gaps in your knowledge and going out of your way to research how, if you're not feeling confident on what compressors do or how to use them, that's a great place to start. You could go dive into 1,000 different compression tutorials and kind of see what that is. I think the other side of that is also putting this all into practice. I feel like you do not actually possess the knowledge until you have put it into practice. So put that to work as much as you possibly can, right? And then, finally, I guess I would just say that these things take time. And, I would say don't get discouraged. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over years, right? But the more that you mix, the more problems that you run into, and the more that you have to solve those problems. And every time that you solve one of those problems, you are, first of all, reaffirming positive decisions that you are making. You are learning how to do things the right way. And also, as you listen back to your mixes and you go, I don't like how those drums sound, you're learning what to avoid as well. So you see, we're making progress every single time that you sit down to mix. And I think that it's just a matter of, running through that process enough until you have really built a firm understanding of what mixing is, and how to do it. Now, I guess actual last thing that I'll say is sometimes it really helps to get somebody else's perspective on your music. People will hear things in your music that you just might not be looking for, Which, if any of you guys are looking for feedback on your music, I do live feedback streams on Twitch for all of my subscribers. I do it every Wednesday and Friday. If you guys want to shop some music by me and hear my thoughts on it, I'm doing a live feedback stream tomorrow on Twitch. I believe it is in the description of this stream. Yeah, my Twitch link is in the description. You guys can go follow me on Twitch, come hang out, consider subscribing if you would like a review. It gives you access to our feedback queue for an entire month. So you get a whole month of just shopping your music by me. So it's a good deal, you know. You subscribe, you get a whole month of just feedback. It's good. It's a lot of fun. Those streams are so much different from these streams that we do here on YouTube with the beat making streams, and now the mixing streams where I'm just doing my work and fucking yammering at you guys, you know. But I think that they're really, really useful, you know, if you are trying to get some objective feedback on your music. I know that some of the biggest strides that I've made in my own like mixing practices is when I get feedback from other mix engineers. You know, I used to shop my music by a bunch of mix engineers on Reddit, like all the time, and every day they would tell me, you know, cool track and all, but your kicks hit like little kittens batting at your ears. Like, what are you doing, man? You're a boom bap producer, your kicks are weak. And I was like so frustrated by it for so long. And then I finally started asking people, well, how would you fix that? And I got like 3 different answers on how to do it. You know, somebody suggested saturation. Somebody suggested compression. Somebody suggested better gain staging. And you know what? I think that there was an element of truth to all of these things, right? But it was just that I didn't recognize that my kicks were hitting weak until somebody else pointed it out to me, right? And so I think that getting feedback on your music is like actually really a big part of the process, you know? So anyways, let's dive into the next mix. Let's start another mix here. Guys, I got one from my upcoming album, The Low Key Plan, song 877. Let's open it up and let's dive into it. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, so, oh man, I can't remember if I did have a live 12 version of this. I don't think I made many changes to it. Yeah, let's open up the live 11 version. Oh boy, it's loading. It's loading. But damn, let me know if you guys want more mixing streams, because this to me is like actually so much fun, just knowledge dumping on you guys, and it's super productive to me. Lately, my bottleneck has been mixing. So like I've been cranking out so many beats. I have more beats than I even know what to do with. I have so many EPs planned out. I have a full-length album in the works, you know, that is completely done in the production phase. And literally the real choke point for me is the mixing. So I'm trying to fit in as many mixing sessions as I possibly can. So yeah, let me know if you guys enjoy these, because I'm having fun right now. I might be down to do more of these. Of course, we'll continue on our Saturday morning cook-ups, and you know, all of that, getting at least one beat making in per week. But damn, this is a lot of fun. Definitely save changes. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what we're cooking with. I think this one was a little bit different, but yeah, 77 Vans asking, is Ableton your personal favorite DAW? Oh, by far, man. By far. I mean, I can't say that I've like really worked with a ton of different DAWs as like maybe some other people have. I'll tell you like kind of the history of DAWs I've used. First DAW I ever laid my hands on was called Cakewalk. I was 12 years old trying to record some piano music. Went down to Circuit City with my dad, and he talked with a guy about, hey, what do we need in order to record some piano? And some guy was like, well, you're going to need a DAW and you're going to need a MIDI keyboard. And so bought Cakewalk and a MIDI keyboard, went home, set it all up, started recording stuff. That was my first interaction with like a DAW. I didn't really make too much on it. Wasn't until like when I was about 16 years old, my sister had this super old MacBook that was ancient. Okay, the year was like 2010, but that MacBook was from around the year 2000. Okay, so it was like early 2000s MacBook, right? And I think really like it came with with GarageBand. So I made a full album in like early 2000s GarageBand. And that was my DAW for a little while until I think I was about like 18-ish. I was about to head off to college, and I decided to invest in a different DAW, and that different DAW was, I can't remember if it was Ableton Live 8 or Ableton Live 9. I use Ableton Live 12 now, except for when I'm live on stream. I use Ableton Live 11 because it's a little bit more, it works a little bit better with stream, you know. But yeah, he says my first was Music Maker Jam. I can't say I've heard of it. What is Music Maker Jam? That's interesting, man. All right, let's see. Media files are missing, probably because I sorted these samples. Let's get this sorted. Okay. All right, I'm having it search through my splice folder to replace any samples that may be missing right now. And then we're going to listen to it, and then we're going to do what we did the last time, which is save as, giving us a mix v1 project file. But let's just hear it first, make sure that this is working, that this is all intact. It's a little rough. Oh, it's an app. Interesting. This one definitely has a rougher mix than where we started with the last one. So we're gonna have to really do some work here. I think I had quite a bit of bullshit on this track that I'm going to want to kind of strip down. Like this RC20 is kind of muddying this up, I think. Oh yeah, and this was turned off. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Oh, wait a minute, I'm missing something here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to mix this down in front of you guys, because I think all of the correct versions of this is in Ableton Live 12. Now, I don't think I can open the Ableton Live 12 version. We can try though, but if not, I'm gonna pick a different track from this album for us to mix down, because we got about an hour left of stream. I'd like to put that to good use. You know, I'd like to make some more progress. But let's try loading this up. Let's try loading up the Live 12 version. I think it's going to tell me like, oh, this is a later version of this track. I don't think it'll let me revert versions. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like streaming on YouTube has gone a lot better than streaming on Twitch. I might just try opening up Ableton Live 12, actually. And maybe we can mix this one in Ableton Live 12, and if it sucks too much of my CPU, then we'll, you know, bring it back to Ableton Live. In fact, yeah, let's do that. Let's try opening Ableton Live 12. If this works, this is going to unlock a lot for our stream. I can start producing my beats in Ableton Live 12 when I'm producing in front of you guys again. So let's try it out. Bear with me. It might slow up the stream. If it does, we'll switch versions of Ableton. So let's just quit this. We didn't make any changes, so let's not save. And let's pull up Ableton Live 12. See if this works. All right, so let's see. Ableton Live 12 suite. There we go. Okay. Moment of truth. Oh man, this could be really great if this works nicely. I swear, I think that for some reason streaming to Twitch, my computer seems to have more struggles than when I'm streaming to YouTube. But then again, part of that might be because on Twitch, we do a lot of music feedback, and I've got like 1,000 tabs open, right? Which is definitely taking up CPU resources. So we'll see. We'll see how this does, you know. I've got Ableton Live 12 opening right now. We'll see kind of where this goes. All right. Because, yeah, I would really love to get this track mixed. And, in fact, if that's the case, I could mix something that I wasn't going to mix. That's actually more pressing in my mixing. Yeah. Sorry, I'm, like, planning out what I'm doing here to you guys. Oh, man. But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I mix. This is actually a lot of fun. I feel like it's good for my focus, explaining what I'm doing as we're working here. You know, to you guys, it kind of keeps me on track with what I'm doing with the mix, you know? So let's see. And also, I'm going to pull up my mixing schedule and just take a look at everything that we've got going on here. So, like, this is my mixing schedule, by the way. I've finished out this EP, Last to Leave Earth. If you guys are curious to hear that, it is already got a pre-release up on my Spotify. Sunrise Serenade is going to be the next EP. We just mixed down the first track on that. I think it's like the second, because we're waterfalling a few. And then I've actually got another silly one that I kind of want to do called Snack Time for Turtles. It's going to be a banger. But it's all building up to the low-key plan. That's what's going to really do it for us. So, anyways, let's look at the mixing schedule. And let's pull up song 883. I think that's going to be a really slick one. All right. Let's see. I think we're doing good. Stream looks okay. So, that's awesome. All right. Let's let this load in fully, and we'll get that one up. All right. Just going to bring this off so I can kind of tick things off. Let's see. So we just mixed song. Oh, yeah, we mixed song 841. So I'm going to pull up song 883. Let's see. Now, the reason why I couldn't mix this one down in Ableton Live 11 is because he used an instrument that I only have available to me in Ableton Live 12. So, we will see. But yeah, Last to Leave Earth EP. It is, that's the next EP that's all scheduled out to come out on my Spotify. If you guys are trying to find that album, here, I'll show you guys both. The Serendipity EP, this is my most recent one that came out. I'll drop a little link in here if you guys are trying to find the music. This is the Serendipity EP. And then heading back out over here, Last to Leave Earth is what's coming up. Don't get your butt back there. Get back there. Oh my gosh, Spotify is it's struggling. But anyways, you guys can go check out. Also, I've got the pre-release up on my Spotify page for Last to Leave Earth. You can go drop it a pre-save right here. The Superior Bees, how you doing, man? It's been a while since I've seen you, dude. How you been, man? How you been? All right, and let's get all of this up. Okay, it's loading in. But yeah, how's life been treating you, bees? Man, it's been a while. I think the last time I saw you was with the whole KFR freaking out and banning. Yeah, that was a whole situation. That's just wild. All right, so let's see. I think 883 was what we were about to load up. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, he says, I took a year off, but I'm back. Hey, well, welcome back, dude. Welcome back. All right, let's pull this up. But yeah, you got any projects in the work, man? You getting back into the music? Let's see. Let me open live set. Open up 883. Cause yeah, if you're getting back into the music, man, I got so many more beats I could show you. Like tons of beats, dude. And bundle deals too. That's another thing that I've changed since we last worked together is now I've got all these really nice bundle deals that are just awesome. It's good stuff. And I became a mix engineer since we last were working together, man. So now I'm also doing mix engineering as well. Yeah, everyday writers. Fuck yeah, dude. Man, that brings me back. That brings me back, dude. That's crazy. Hell yeah. That's what's up. Man, yeah, since we last spoke, I fucking popped on Spotify, dude. That's what I've been up to. I've been fucking hard at work making this shit go off. It's been wild, man. Okay. Here we are. Let's see. Song 883 is what we're trying to pull up. Song 883. Let me just double, triple check that that's what we're trying to pull up. Yes. Song 883. Open. And we'll see how Ableton Live 12 kind of behaves here. But yeah, man, since we last spoke, I had this song Lady Moon really take off. And surprisingly, I've got a huge audience in Brazil now. Honestly, Brazil really like embraced this song. It's just been wild. Now I'm getting like all these comments on Instagram that's like all written in Portuguese. I don't understand any of it, but I'm like, hell yeah, thank you guys. You know, it's crazy. All right, it is loading in the project. Boy, this is taking a while. I hope that this works out okay. Stream doesn't seem to be slowing down here. Let's see. All right, it's loading in. Hell yeah. But yeah, he says the other countries appreciate great hip hop. That's true, man. And especially, like, given that I release so much instrumental music, I've been able to effectively push it out to other countries, to non-English speaking countries. And I'm very surprised and just so happy to see that Brazil is just, like, really embracing TapDaddy, you know? They've probably the biggest audience for Lady Moon, also for my debut album, Friends and Enemies. That definitely took. So... And now I'm really working on the low-key plan. That's gonna be my next album. I got way too many projects in the work, man. I got way too many projects in the work, but you know, staying busy, staying busy. All right, it's loading. Boy, we'll see if loading up Ableton Live 12 was a mistake or not. All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The difference between Ableton Live 11 and Ableton Live 12 is just, man, Ableton Live 12 just hogs resources, dude. It just takes so much computer power, and that's honestly why you guys don't see me in Ableton Live 12 too often, you know. But yeah, Aiden says, yo, Tap, apparently I'm singing at a fancy restaurant tonight. What? Oh, nice, man. That's interesting. How'd you come across that gig? That's interesting, dude. Hell yeah. Let's Got to search for missing. Oh, okay. I've got to set the folder here. That's okay. Got to search for missing stuff right here. But yeah, B says my biggest market is Europe and Philippines and Jerusalem. My BMI is going crazy. Hey, that's awesome, man. That's pretty cool, man. Hell yeah. Let's see. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So you got all tied in with PRO. Have you been doing many shows lately? It's astounding to me how many people don't realize that you can get paid extra royalties if you register your set list when you perform live shows. That's a good way to really capitalize on what BMI is paying you, you know? So that's pretty awesome. Good God, Ableton Live 12 is just taking for fucking ever. Okay, so now I've got to put this all in the right project. Let's see, I need to go to over here, user library. And we're going to just set it to the splice folder. We're going to have that search. And then we can get going here. But yeah, he says, the saga continues. Ah, hell yeah, man. Well, link with me if you need any beats or anything. I also offer mixing services now. So, yeah, just, you know where to find me if you need anything. That's awesome, though. I'm glad that you're getting back into music, man. All right. Let's hear this. This is what we're mixing down now. Wow, this is already like pretty well mixed. I feel like this is how a lot of my tracks go, okay? Like, I kind of mix a little bit as I produce. So, like, you'll notice this is pretty well spaced out, pretty well gain staged. The reverbs sound really nice. We might tame the reverb a little bit. Dude, this is pretty well mixed, honestly. I think we might just be mastering this one. We need to make sure, though, that this kind of gets prepped right for the master. Cool, it's at -1.04. I may have mixed this already in the past. How we got on everything? I see I already did compression. This is my fancy vibraphone instrument. Just like a little dash of reverb here. We might do that same compression trick that we did last time with that saxophone to kind of like bake it to its own reverb, you know? But yeah, I see Aiden says my grandpa's performing at a restaurant near me and he invited me to come. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's sick. Do you perform with your grandpa often? That's quite dope, man. All right. Let's I like how everything's kind of sitting right now. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room. So like we did last time, we're going to just turn everything down by, let's just say like 4 or 5 decibels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So now this is a little bit quieter. So if you guys need to, go ahead and turn your headphones up. I know I am. These drums aren't too harsh, but I would like a little bit more bump out of this. What do we have going on here? Oh yeah, I totally mixed this. I totally mixed this one. So, what could we do though to get a little bit more bump out of this? And I'm thinking this reverb that we have on this snare. Oh no, this is just like on RC20. Now let's actually keep that up there, but let's decrease the decay. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. All right. But yeah, B says Prince Geeter been playing on repeat for months in my chamber. Hey, that's awesome, man. That's sick. Yo, if you need any mixing services, just reach out to me, man. I am pretty booked up right now, but you know, yeah, you can get on the list if you want. You know. Yeah, RC20, the OG, absolutely. I want these drums to feel a little bit more extra. Let's get Radiator in here. Yeah, Radiator, and we're gonna slip this in on the end here, I'm thinking, or we'll see. We'll see. I'm thinking on the end here. We might move that LA2A compressor out behind it. I can't remember why I had that in front of the drum bus. So here's Radiator. If we put this further back in here, like before RC20. You see that fuzz is gonna get picked up though. Oh, but I love boosting the bass here. Okay, we're kind of messing with this now. A touch of insanity. See, I want a little bit of that crunch on there. Just a little bit, but I don't know. That's... Okay, let's just do this. Not sure about that. We're getting there. Hey, P Beaster, thank you. I'm not sure if we're doing positive work here, though. Honestly, we might need to just let this drum bus take care of the crunching. Okay. It's going crazy. So now we have it after this LA2A. That's kind of what I'm chasing. I'll tell you guys what, I think we're gonna just set this kick up a little bit higher too. Oh, and I've also got a little bit of a drum bus on this. I must have a soft clipper on this kick. We've got this so compressed that moving the, trying to gain stage these drums together isn't like quite doing a bunch. We're gonna have to like bass boost. Oh, let's turn that up a bit. Oh, that feels good. Let's swap the LA2A and the radiator, their positioning. See what that does. Yeah, I'm thinking radiator after. Because remember, guys, whatever is on the left side is the audio that's being fed into the right, So we're gonna kind of just move things. We're gonna compress first, then saturate, and then into this drum bus, which also has a decent amount of drive and some other things, like we've turned the transients down a little bit. Oh, this is such a beautiful track. I'm kind of thinking this is almost ready to be fed into a master chain. This one really didn't need a lot of work. This was pretty well mixed as we got into this. We might bring up this vibraphone solo though. Thank you, Aiden. Oh, fun fact about how I panned out that piano. I I don't know. This was actually an idea that I had after listening to the soundtrack for Breath of the Wild. You guys know, like, as you're going over the plains in Breath of the Wild, there's this piano medley that starts playing. And what's so interesting is there are like notes that are very extremely panned out and kind of dancing around your ears. And it's odd, and I liked that oddness. I liked the very aggressively spaced piano notes. So that's what I did here with these yeah. That's good. Do I have anything on the master? No, that's perfect. I'm gonna turn down this snare a little bit in hopes of making the rest of the drums feel a little bit bigger. Turn down that snare and maybe turn up the drums by 1. So is that -9? It's now -8. See, subtle. We're doing good. Oh. Yeah, and I like this. This doesn't really need anything on it. Although I am curious if I could increase the dynamics of this in any way, kind of get that more of a crescendo. What do I want to do here? Do we want to play around with a little bit of automation? Yeah. Let's get our utility out. I'm just curious if we really like... So what I'm kind of thinking is... Yeah, how do we want to do that? Let's see. Thinking we could get like a nice curve upwards. We take away that, we take away that, we take away that, and basically spread this like this, right? And then we really boost this signal. So like if I throw down another utility here and we just like slam up that gain quite a bit. Almost, but it's I'm not sure if I want it to start right at the bottom like that. Like maybe instead of starting out of nowhere, we start like at -12. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Let's make sure that that stops on a dime where it needs to. And what if we tightened that? Maybe bring it dead, like right there. Much better. Okay. So yeah, now we got a really good one of those. Let's hear this other guy, make sure that he's doing the same thing. Yeah, it's the same one. So what we're gonna do there is we're just gonna copy paste. Perfect. Okay, so now since we do those again over here, we're just gonna replace them. Boom, there we go. All right. I love that little build up with the vibraphone. It's so cool, man. And I did this vibraphone. Me. I did it. It's MIDI. Can you believe that? All right. Now you'll notice that these drums are set a little bit forward. That's good though. We're gonna compress quite a bit in the mastering. That's gonna bring forth a lot of this stuff. Let's bring up this little string. Oh, man. I love this song, dude. This is like so cool and somber almost. Whew. Okay, let's fix these trumpets. And then I think we're going to move on to mastering and call that good. So basically what I'm going to do is kind of what I did last time with that saxophone. I'm going to turn down the dry wet on this reverb, and then I'm going to add some compression to lift those reverb tails to basically get it sounding how it does right now. The difference is that when the trumpet comes in, that reverb is going to be compressed down a little bit. And as that trumpet lets off, the reverb tail is going to lift up a little bit, allowing for our trumpet to be kind of gelled into its reverb, giving us a little bit of a cleaner signal while still sounding nice and rich and reverberated, right? So let's bust out that LA2A compressor. Where are you at? There we go. LA2A. All right, and we're going to slap this down here. So it's currently at 34% on its dry wet. Let's oh boy, Ableton's struggling. This needle is not moving well. Yeah, I think in the future I will have to mix down in Ableton Live 11 if I'm doing these live on stream, but we'll see. Yeah, let me know if the stream quality, if like my camera looks freezy or anything. 'Cause you can really see here in Ableton with this needle, like Ableton is struggling a bit. See where the compression's at. There we go. I'm trying to get to this -3-ish because that's about how much we're boosting. So yeah, we have brought it up a little bit. It needed to come up though. Let's turn it down a bit, regain stage it a little bit. This should be a bit of a background detail. There we go. Ah, hell yeah. Thank you, Aiden. I'm always curious because I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes my computer struggles and I'm like, oh God, what does stream look like? think I want to turn up this piano detail. Okay, this is sounding really great, guys. And I'm hoping, you'll notice the drums are set forward a little bit, but I'm hoping that as we really compress in the master that we're gonna wrap around all of this ambience and detailing around those drums, you know? That the drums are going to be the things hitting the ceiling and not going further, while everything else around it kind of gets really lifted upwards, you know? And let's see where our max peak value is. Mine is 4.17. That's awesome. We have plenty of room. We have plenty of room to mess around with that Shadow Hills mastering compressor. Oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm liking the balance. What was this again? Oh yeah, this was the strings. We already gain staged that. Let's hear it. Yeah, and you'll notice on a lot of these, I was very minimal in how we mixed. This is nothing more than like gain staging, and it happens to sit in the left, and I like that. But you see, we're not overthinking things. We're just kind of like, this sounds good, right? Why would we go in there and start butchering things, you know? I think that that's the number one thing that I see, like, people that are just now starting to step into mixing. The biggest mistake I see people make is that you start to do negative work because you feel like you need to do all these things when a lot of times maybe it doesn't need EQing, you know? Maybe it doesn't need any compression. Maybe it doesn't need that reverb, you know? I think that you just got to, like, get out of your head and don't worry about, like, how other people are, you know, would tell you how to do that. Like, let your judgment be your judgment, you know? Let yourself make choices. Let yourself decide not to compress, you know? Like, I don't know. I think you got to be a little bit of an independent thinker and just stay objective about, like, does this sound balanced? Does this sound good? Does this sound rich? Can it be better? And, you know, if you don't have a clear answer for that, like, move on. Don't ruin a good thing. So I think that, yeah, we are at the point where we are ready to start mastering. Let's pull out that Shadow Hill again. Here we go. Oh, man, guys, we're getting so much work done. Holy shit, I'm going to end stream with 2 completely mixed beats. Of course, I got to stem out all of these, and that really takes the biggest majority of time for me, is just stemming things. So I don't know, but yeah, let's dive in with this. Okay, so we're gonna start with the optical gain. Let's enable sidechain. Start turning up that threshold. Starting to nudge. There we go. Okay. Start with the discrete compressor. You can definitely tell that when we increase the gain on that discrete compressor, it's mostly picking up that piano, right? That's what I mean by the discrete compressor is going to really pick up a lot of that body, you know? And the optical compressor is going to preserve drums. That's been my experience with this. If anybody else has experience with the Shadow Hills mastering compressor, I'd be really curious to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts, you know? Whether you're here in chat or if you're watching the VOD, leave a comment. Let me know if you also work with this compressor. Again, I don't know what these platings do, but I think iron might sound good here. I don't know. Let's hear it during the quiet part. Yes. Okay. This is sounding so clean and good. Guys, we are like fucking kicking ass today. Alright, let's see where we're at. -2. Okay, we're gonna do what we did last time. Pretty similar master chain, except for this time I can actually use Ableton's master limiter. Alright, so let's get our utility out. Let's boost it by -2, but let's listen all the way through it. Make sure that we're not peaking. I mean, a little bit of peaking is honestly pretty okay. Like, you know, honestly, like if it clips at like one tiny little second during the song, nobody's really gonna notice. I think really what you want to avoid is like when you play a Rhodes chord and it just sounds crackly and poppy, you know, that fucking sucks. But you know, this is where it's like you want to mix and master like with your ears, not your eyes, right? But yeah, for the most part though, we want it to stay below 0 dB for this part of the mastering process. Let's boost this up, try to get it close to a 0. And however close we get it, the Ozone plugin is going to help us get the rest of the way. So let's hear. Let's listen. Let's observe. Let's make sure we like this. Paying attention to this value down here, the max peak value. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? Save the project file as a mix v1, but I don't think I've saved yet, so we can still do that. Yep, and our max peak is at -0.22. That's exactly where we probably want it. Pretty snugly up there. It's not like exactly touching 0 yet, but as soon as we put Ozone on here, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna do some stuff. All right. Yeah, it's going to get snugly up to 0. I just like kind of staging it as close to 0 as I can before I really start doing work. I like to do the Shadow Hills compression with like about 4 decibels of wiggle room, of headroom, so that I have room to kind of like increase the gain and kind of hear it out, you know, as I'm increasing the volume through compression. That's just me, though. You could do it any which way. And in fact, sometimes it's a little bit more objective to kind of remove loudness bias from when you're compressing. But this works nice to me. Anyways, plugins, Ozone 9 Elements, and all of the mastering engineers that laugh unanimously. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Like I said, I really like the maximizer in this. I don't mind that it auto-generates an EQ. I think it's a good suggestion EQ that you can always go and tweak at your own convenience. But like I said, I think 80% of the time it has a pretty decent EQ that I'm like enjoying. Now, where do we want to do this? I'm thinking like around here. Yeah, this kind of has the most in it. Okay, so let's Master Assistant high next. And let's play audio. Jesus Christ. Okay, so it fucked up. It fucked up. Let's bring that threshold back up. Oh, God, I hope it didn't screw up. What are you doing with the EQ? That actually might be a smart choice. I like kind of lifting the highs to give it a bright finish. It kind of brought down some of this. Now that I've kind of brought this maximizer back to a reasonable spot, let's hear that. Okay. That's not terrible. Let's get Uline loudness meter and see where we're at LUFS wise. Because if we're not quite there yet, we might bust out Ableton's master limiter and make some work there. Good God, these plugins are really chugging. Let's close that guy. Okay, so yeah, this is where you can kind of start turning down your volume. We were mixing really quietly earlier. Now we're bringing this up to full volume. You know, protect your ears, all that stuff. I know I just blasted them out earlier. So yeah, we do have a little ways to go. Now I think like 2 options of kind of what I want to do. I can pull back on this threshold a little bit more, bringing it down, allowing a little bit more loudness through. We can also push it head first into a mastering limiter. Let's try a little bit of a mixture of both. So yeah, in Ableton Live 12, they added this master limiter. Let's put this before our loudness meter. And I wanna push a little bit on a master limiter at the end of this, you know, kind of take in this well mixed track that we have already kind of done some mastering compression to, and we're just kind of like putting a hard ceiling on it and then like raising the floor. Basically, that's essentially what you're doing when you're limiting. You're saying, okay, the hard ceiling at 0 dB, and then this loudness here, we're gonna shove it face first. Little bit. And that orange right here is showing you like basically what's getting compressed. So I don't want to push too hard on it. I think that's a pretty good spot. Let's go back over to our ozone. Let's pull this back a little bit. That's actually working pretty nicely. God damn, that sounds nice. Okay. Let's pull this back a little bit more. Yeah, that makes sense to me, this. Bloop. You can see, we got... That's probably really brightening this up. We can A-B test the equalizer. And you know what? I've decided I like that. So, that's pretty good. Shove that up one more step. Okay. Let's bring this back to the beginning and let's do one final run through this and see what our LUFS value is. I'm aiming for anywhere between -8 to -10 LUFS is about the range of this EP. So let's see where we got it. Hearing a little bit of static in the background. Oh no, it's gone. Sounding so good. Damn. Oh, and it looks like it settled in at about -8.9 LUFS. Let's fucking go. Nice. That's like spot on, dude. Spot on around where I was aiming. And that sounds clean, man. That sounds really clean. There was like one anomaly that I kind of heard in there that it felt like a little bit of like like fuzz was kind of brought forward. I'm going to do my homework on this and sit with this. You know, I think one of the smartest things you guys can do is like when you get done with a session like this, don't call it done until you've gotten a chance to come back to it the next day with fresh ears and a fresh perspective. And kind of as I was talking about a little bit earlier in stream, without expectation, without thinking I got to listen to how the kick sounds. I got to listen for this mistake. So like for me personally, how this applies to how I'm going to listen to this tomorrow is I'm not going to sit down and go, let's listen for that fuzz, you know? No. I'm going to clear my mind of any expectation. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to listen to this. And if there's any issues that come to me, I'm going to get my hands dirty. I'm going to fix it, right? So I hope this mixing session has helped you guys, but I hope I unlocked some things for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this mixing stream, drop a like, drop a sub if you haven't yet already. I think I'm going to start doing more mixing streams more often. Maybe I'll make Thursdays mixing days. We'll definitely be doing more production on Saturdays. Saturday morning cookups is going to remain a thing, but I'm kind of experimenting. I loved this because I got to really knowledge dump on you guys while also getting a lot of work done. And I would love to do more of this. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Because this was so much fun. Anyways, I'm gonna be live on Twitch tomorrow reviewing music from my subscribers. If you guys would like for me to review your music, go check out our Twitch channel. I've got it linked in the description. Basically, the way it works is if you subscribe to me on Twitch, then you get access to our feedback queue for an entire month. For an entire month, you can shop music by me, and I will spill my entire thoughts on your music. So if that sounds like a deal to you, head on over to the Twitch, drop me a follow, come hang out with us tomorrow when I'm live on Twitch. And consider subscribing if you would like to shop your music by me. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to be live on YouTube on Saturday morning, doing a live cook-up. Little Saturday morning cook-up. But yeah, thank you guys for keeping me company while I mix. This was a lot of fun. I feel like we got some really good mixes done. Today. So anyways, I think I will leave you guys there. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is TapDaddy, and until next time, happy producing, or happy mixing, actually. So thank you guys. Peace.